Hey guys, Dirt here. Welcome to a special episode of Formers Friday. The Geek is getting more product lined up that he's going to be reviewing in the next few episodes. So I'm just stepping in to do a fill-in because I do have something special. You've probably seen it from the title. I don't know why we do these introductions where it's like you don't know what you're seeing, because obviously there's been a thumbnail and a title of a video. But sure enough, we have the San Diego Comic-Con version of Soundwave here. And this is Soundwave as a tablet. Which is kind of a neat idea for updating the character. You know, Soundwave originally came out as a micro cassette recorder. I've got some sitting on the shelf up there. Not sure if you can see them, but regardless, when you lose the technology of micro cassette recorders because no one uses them anymore, then what do? What does he turn into? And of course he's become Jeeps, he's become jets, he's become all sorts of things. But this, I think, actually works out really well. Having him become a tablet makes sense and follows kind of that original idea. So you can see on the box here, very thin box that this comes in, and they show him in robot form, but no real look of what his new alt mode is going to be. Of course, you can see I have a nice big crease on mine. Thank you very much for doing that during shipping by packing they took the brown paper and just shoved it in there so much it actually put a crease on the box. Thanks for nothing, dudes. But then on the back, we get a little history of Soundwave up here, talking about how now that he's a tablet, he's stealing all your personal information, your barcode, your safety information, all of that kind of stuff. So, an interesting box anyway, even though they were jerks with the way they messed up mine. But I'm going to go ahead here now. Let's get this sucker open. I've only briefly taken a look at it, just wanted to open up and make sure nothing was broken or anything before I started doing the video, but otherwise I haven't done anything with this yet. So if I can get the guy back out. Now in the box here, you've got your tablet wrapped in plastic, partly to keep it safe, but I remember looking at pictures that the back is all cut out and doesn't have any texture to it. It's the giveaway of what it actually is. And so the plastic that it comes in is like the plastic when you get a new tablet. You always have to peel it off and take it out of the package. And so they've made the back, you can see there's a camera hole up here for what would be the camera. They've made it just a solid silver that comes down to technology, and this technology bits are actually drawn for the texture of what's underneath. So you're kind of getting this almost like you're doing an x-ray through to see how it's cut open on the inside. But it adds to the overall look that this would be an actual tablet by having that solid gray on there. Gives a little bit to the illusion. Just adds a nice little funky touch to it. I'm going to set that aside for a second, just so we can turn back to the box here for a moment. Underneath, we've got this little piece of crinkly paper, and then we've got the instructions. Now, I didn't pull these out yet because I'm kind of scared to. It's cut in that Decepticon shape, and you have these little tabs holding it in place, but it makes it really awkward to try to get it out without folding anything too much, without bending anything too much. I didn't want to pull any of this out. I didn't want to put a big crease in the middle of the booklet trying to get it out. And I think that's actually it for the box. Nothing else underneath there. So that's it for the box. I'll put the crinkly paper back and we'll set that aside and take a quick look at the book here. We've got our instructions on how to transform it. Again, all visual. Probably difficult to follow, like most of them, but no text, no more background story, nothing else about his change into this new form or how it happened or anything like that. It's just there. So let's take a look here at our tablet, and one thing you can notice is how when this was sticking to it, you could tell that there were all these different parts to the screen. Like the screen, it's supposed to be a glossy black solid tablet screen, but of course it's all broken up because of the transformation, and that seems very apparent when you're looking at that. Let me see if I can slide this out. Alright, so we slide it out of our sleeve there. And there is all of that marking from the plastic, all of that. I don't know if that was condensation, I don't know if that was oils that were being brought out, but all of that here is left on the screen. So I'm going to have to find some stuff, wipe it down, probably with electronic screen wipes in order to clean it off. But you can see that it has the size and shape of a tablet. It's just a pretty good tablet size. If this was an actual tablet, that'd be not bad. I'm guessing what, a 9, well, maybe an 8-inch. I wish I had one handy here. Here's an 8-inch tablet. Yeah, okay, so it's an 8-inch tablet size. This is the Techlast 2-in-1, and it's just a little bit shorter than that, but part of that is because of the giant bezels on this one. So 8-inch tablet there. And what we have are your standard Android type buttons, your back, your multi-window, or your task chooser, and your home button. And you actually see those on this is based off an actual tablet, which is a Xiaomi, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a Chinese company that makes tablets. You've got your volume control buttons over here on the side. You've got your headphone jack at the top. Your power slider switch, which doesn't actually slide, but nonetheless there it is. You've got a power button. And then down here, here's the spot where you would plug in your charger. Microphone, maybe SD card. So you've got basically all the stuff that would come on the actual tablet. But then of course you look at the back and there's the robot guts. So from this side, yes, it's a tablet with a horribly cracked, broken screen, but then that side, obviously a transformer. Now, one of the things that's standing out to me, though, as I'm looking at this, is that it's not holding up well, perfectly straight. You can see that the pieces coming together on the side don't really hold perfectly straight, and it has these bends and folds along on it where it's not holding itself up correctly. So that's a little weird on there. Nothing too terribly bad as far as that goes, but you can just kind of tell, you know, there's these extra points where you have these joints in here. They don't become anything in tablet mode. They're just there because they needed joints when they make it. So it's more or less made to look better straight on, even though, again, all of those broken pieces, it really stands out. And I don't really know what you could do for that. You know, I don't know if there'd be some sort of plastic film maybe you could put on to help it, but for the most part, that's just how it has to be because of that transformation, because you're actually breaking apart the screen. So that's what that is. Now, all of you know that I do not transform these live in front of people. I get very frustrated, sometimes swearing while I'm trying to get these things transformed. So, using the magic of editing, we are going to transform this into this. Here we have Soundwave. I'm going to put his gun in his hand, because last time I tried to do that, I lost a piece of it. Alright, so, he is a funky transformation, and I can say that quite honestly. There are some things that really stuck out to me as just kind of a bad idea, poorly thought out, but let's take a look at this. I know they didn't have a lot to work with because of the tablet shape, so you do have to give them, you know, a little bit of leeway in some of the stuff they came up with this character. But one thing is, these feet, these legs, no matter what I do, I can't get them flat. There's no way to just make them, you know, perpendicular to the floor. If one is not. And part of that has to do with the hips. The legs just simply, you know, fold down instead of having some extra joint piece, instead of having a piece of the hip where you can adjust it and bring it out a little bit and then have it come down. It's just a straight, there you go. So it makes it a little weird trying to get those legs together. And the other thing is, these don't seem to tab together. I can't find any way to get these pieces of the legs to actually commit to being attached to each other. They just sit there. but they don't actually tab, which makes them really loose and wonky in a lot of spots. The other thing is this main body part here. His body part is actually a cavity. You have two pieces that fold together, and the head is actually in 3 different slices that you bring together, and snapping the head together holds this whole section together, and you have these 2 little torso pieces that flip out, give it a little bit of extra stability, but for the most part, it's just a big hollow cavity there where those pieces fold together. So that's a little wonky as well. But the main thing is, when I look at this, I don't see Soundwave. The face doesn't look like Soundwave. The colors, of course, are all off. They didn't even bother to, some of these parts that are white and black in the middle, they didn't bother to, make them blue and silver to kind of, touch with the colors of his original look. For some reason, they have this day-glow orange. I don't know, is this a safety feature so you can prove it's not an actual tablet? Like if you're smuggling this guy into North Korea, like they have the plastic orange cap on the end of a toy gun, do you need that in order to prove to security that this is not a real working tablet? Look, the bright orange. Obviously it's a toy. Like, I don't understand what that part's for. Part of this also attaches on the back to make wings. Some sort of flight accessory, I guess. Some sort of jetpack thing that attaches onto the back, which is weird because he already has these giant freaking wings on his shoulders that serve no purpose. So you basically have these 2 sets of wings on his back, I guess, to give him super flight when he's flying. The gun is made, on one hand we have the shield. This is the main part of the touchscreen, becomes a shield, and the gun is actually made, these 2 pieces, they can be separate guns, so if you want him to double barrel it, he can do that. You have this kind of halo looking thing, and then like this little thing. This piece doesn't move on it though, so it just stays solid like this. And then the other one, this can flip around, front of the camera, there we go. This can flip around, but they're made technically to piece together in order to make one big gun that he puts in this hand. So you do have a little bit of option with that. But the weird thing is, much like all of this, I mean, okay, let's just take a second. I understand, it's a flat shape, it's a tablet. There's not a lot of width. You can't get bulkiness. It's not like a car that has a giant midsection you can use as the midsection of the body because it's big and bulky. I understand that. I got it. This is a weird shape, being this tablet. When you look at some of the other stuff that they've done with the new characters that are like the little mini tablets, I don't know, Ravage, maybe Rewind, I think. I don't remember which ones exactly, but they made them into like a tiny, almost like a phone or a mini tablet type thing. And they made them thick and bulky so that they had that bulk to work with, to build stuff up. This being based off an actual real tablet, they don't have that luxury. It has to be flat in order to look like that Zomi tablet. So I understand that that's the problem, but some of the stuff like the hands are so incredibly skinny and awkward on here. Some of these pieces, like here on the chest, they just had these leftover parts, so they were like, okay, well, let's put some bulk on his chest then, but you don't get that throughout the figure anywhere else where it adds anything to the rest of the body. The legs are funky. Like I said, they don't tab into place, so they're loose, but I mean, look at them, they look like 2 pipes. You just have these 2 flat pieces that come together to make a leg, which also doesn't give it a whole lot of articulation. So that's another issue with dealing with this thing. Sure, you can move this arm, but when you move it, it moves this giant wing piece, and that hits the other wing piece here in the back, and so that stops a lot of that articulation. You do have some down here, but there's not a whole lot. And of course, there's nothing in the waist. There's no way to really make him look like he's going to look sideways or anything. Just lost part of the gun there. Like I said, they don't attach too well. So there's not a lot you can do with him. So he really is more of a showpiece. And this is kind of the catch-22 of the character. As a showpiece, instead of more of an articulated one that you're going to play with, of course, because it's a show exclusive, it's more expensive, whatever. As in the tablet mode, the front panel's all broken up. So you don't really want to display it that way because it doesn't really look that good that way. But then when you put him in robot mode, it doesn't look that way either. It looks more like a Bayformer, really, and that's not good. That is really not good. It just has that look of, hey, there's a lot of leftover crap. We got to find places. Let's just stick it here on the shoulder, or let's just stick it here on the hip, and it'll fill that space. But it honestly really doesn't look that great. So, you know, I wanted to like this a lot. I love Soundwave. I think he's a great character. I love his classic G1 look. I love the masterpiece that they made of him. I bought knockoffs of him. I thought the knockoffs looked great because they still had that basic bulky look to it. But this one just doesn't do it for me. So I can't give a really high grade on this particular one. If you have to have it because you just collect everything, you have to have it because it's an exclusive, so you want to have it for that, great. But for the most part, you know, honestly, I may end up just holding on to this for a couple months, throwing it on eBay, and throwing it out to some other collector, because I really just don't see a lot of joy in either the tablet mode or the robot mode on this one. Nothing really blows me away, so yeah, it may not last in my collection very long. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to go to popculturenetwork.com. Check out all of our other videos, comic book previews, comic reviews, comic book chronicles that we do with theclicknation.com. You can check out that show. We have Fans of Power. If you're into Masters of the Universe and all that stuff, you can check out that podcast there. You can go to thatnewtoysmell.com to just check out our toy podcasts and news and information. You can go to ineedcomics.com to check out just the comic book stuff, or go to popculturenetwork.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at popculturenet. We also have an official Facebook group. We do have a forums, but nobody uses them anymore. Forums are dead, but everybody uses Facebook nowadays, so we switched over to Facebook several months ago. So make sure you check out the official Pop Culture Network group on Facebook. And don't forget, we do have a 24-hour voicemail line. You can call our voicemail line at area code 217-953-4025. Call us anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can leave us a voicemail message, and we will get it on that machine. So that's going to do it for me. On behalf of the Geek, who I'm filling in for this week, this is Dirt, and I want to say thank you. I'll see you next time.
Dirt, call me.